Welcome back. So a Roth conversion of an existing retirement account is a major decision. Among other factors, you must consider your current income tax rate, your expected future income tax rate, and the anticipated rate of return on your investments. But before you take the time to determine whether converting to a Roth IRA is right for you, make sure you're eligible to convert in the first place. Like many other retirement plan decisions, it helps to get all your information together in one place. And joining me to talk about this from Dublin, Ohio, is advisor and attorney Greg DuPont. Greg, thanks for joining us. So begin by talking about, when is a Roth conversion a good idea?
So, Scott, there are different times in life when adding to the Roth makes sense. The first thing is I want the consumer to understand that they typically have a notion that they are limited as to how much can go into a Roth, and that's based upon contribution limits. But when you think in terms of Roth conversions, then the world really opens up for you in terms of being able to convert an unlimited amount almost. It's just how much do you want to pay in taxes that's going to drive that conversation. So one of the things that the consumer needs to think about with regard to a Roth conversion as opposed to a contribution is whether there is going to be a long-term economic benefit to that change. And so it depends upon how much time we have to recoup that investment, meaning the additional tax bill that's being paid, or whether there are other benefits to having money in Roth to protect for your future.
So Greg, it's also important to consider the retirement time frame and the rate of return too, isn't it?
That's absolutely right, Scott, because if you are going to voluntarily pay more to the IRS in the current year to convert funds, then you want to make sure that you have enough time to get an adequate return on that investment. And when you mention rates of return, you want to be sensitive to what type of vehicle you are using after it's been converted to a Roth.
And now finally, when is a Roth conversion not a good idea?
Not a good idea, one, when you don't have other funds to pay for the taxes potentially. Two, when you have maybe a high healthcare cost need. Also doesn't make sense potentially if it's going to put you into different tax brackets. There are lots of things that go into that conversation. When you are going to voluntarily pay this additional tax in a current year, you want to be darn sure you know what you're getting. One of the things that used to be available to the consumer was a kind of a second chance if the account went down during that year after you had converted. That's gone after the Tax Cut and Job Act. But above and beyond that, when I can counsel a client and say, yeah, it's a good idea to pay thousands of dollars this year in taxes, I want to be darn sure that the money that has gone into that Roth doesn't lose half of its value through the market. So we want to make sure we have as stable a possible rate of return as we can get once we have converted into the new target investment.
That's Greg DuPont in Dublin, Ohio. Thanks for watching Retirement News Online.